Merry Christmas! It's a rainy Christmas Eve and I'm on my deck enjoying some hot tea. This past week a couple students came in, did some work on the 48 engine as well as pulled an engine from a Chrysler 300. Before we get to that, one of my past graduates has something he'd like to share with you that reinforces something I talked about a couple of episodes back. Hope you enjoy it. Take it away, Jimmy.
My name is Jimmy Van and I'm a service technician at Lusting Toyota. And you're probably wondering why we're taking a look at this rotor right now. And you know, I'm a former automotive student of Mr. Stevens' automotive class at CD Hylton High, and I want to show you a perfect example why we use torque wrenches every single time. So we had a customer complaint coming in saying that roadside assistants over torqued their lug nuts and they wanted to check for the studs and lug nuts to see if they could be reused. That's clearly shredded. That's shredded. This one's shredded as well. This one's shredded as well. You're probably wondering where the fifth lug nut was. They drove the lug nut into the wheel, compact spare tire, and then in an attempt to get it out, damaged the threads. And if you thought that wasn't enough, they elongated the rotors right where the studs would be coming through. As you can see, they're damaged, and this is no longer considered a safe rotor. Always use torque wrenches no matter what.
We're installing the new oil pump before putting in the pistons.
The set bolt for the pump is in. Now he's tightening the jam nut to hold the pump secure.
With the oil pump in place, I'm tightening the pressure feed line.
Dylan's adding thread tape to the oil pump pickup.
The last step is to put on the pickup screen. Since the screws are recessed, they are harder to reach by hand, so we're using a screw starter to get them in.
This is what the screw starter looks like in the relaxed position. And this is what it looks like when it's forced into a screw to hold it in place. Now Kevin's going to snap it into the screw for the oil pickup. You can see it holds it firmly in place upside down. Now he can put it into the concaved area where it would be more difficult to get his fingers in.
I'm using the bolster on the screwdriver to apply more torque on the screws.
We're installing the pistons in our 48 block. We're using rod protectors to protect the crank as the piston is going in.
The students have the two compression rings 180 degrees apart, as you can see. We have the opening here on the skirt side on the second ring facing up. The first ring has the gap facing down.
You must use a piston ring compressor when installing pistons.
Dylan is seating the ring compressor against the block before driving the piston in.
There you go.
Now he taps it in the rest of the way to get the rod onto the crank journal. Next, the rod protectors come off.
You should always lubricate your bearings to avoid a dry start.
I'm torquing the rod cap to 45 pound-feet.
Notice that Alejandro is using an open hand with the torque wrench. You have much better control that way.
We're removing the cowled race to make removing the engine easier. Now we're disconnecting the engine mounts.
Eureka!
We're removing the coils and plugs to do a compression test.
You can see where this plug boot has been split and shorting out against the head for a while, so I'm sure it was missing.
Because of wax contamination, I had to DA the entire top side of the trunk. Now I'm going to prime it again. This is one of the last two pieces I need to spray for the pull tractor. Now it's ready for a few coats of clear.
Next time on Bulldog Builds, we'll have more of the 48 Chevy engine done. We'll see if we can get the compression test done on that 5.7 Chrysler, and we'll check in on the engine team to see how their practices are coming along. See you next week.